Tomorrow is an interesting day. It's the day we finally get the successor to the Pixel 6 and Pixel 6 Pro. And they've had a very storied past. I mean, there's been a lot that's happened in the Pixel world in the last year with Android 12, with the Pixel 6, and Pixel 6 Pro, all that jazz. And it's going to be exciting to see what happens. Now, there's a lot of stuff that's already been leaked, and I can't really confirm it because I don't know. I just have the leaks to go off of. But some of them seem like they're fairly well legit. I mean, of course, we know it's going to have the Tensor 2 chip. Google told us that themselves. We're expecting basically the same camera. We're expecting the same amount of RAM, roughly, probably the same storage. There's not a lot here that I think is going to be very exciting. I don't want to say that in a bad way. I mean, I'm excited about it, but I just mean when you look at last year's and this year's, I think that we're probably going to end up with a very similar kind of situation to what we've seen in the past with Samsung and also with the Apple iPhone. Not a lot of change. And hopefully, what we're going to get is a lot of refinement. And I think that's what's sorely missing in this Pixel 6 and 6 Pro lineup from the issues that we had from the get-go with the software. I know there's a lot of turn-offs, a lot of hiccups, a lot of road bumps in the road this last year for the Pixel 6 and 6 Pro. And very polarizing device. A lot of people love it, had no problems. A lot of people hate it, had lots of problems. And then there's some people in between who tried really, really hard to love the phone. I know I've got some people in the comments saying they've replaced their phone like 4 and 5 times. So there's a very, very diverse group of people that have owned the 6 and the 6 Pro. So I don't know exactly how many people are going to be clamoring the morning of when we look at this tomorrow and want to pre-order it. I'm sure that there are a lot of people that will exercise caution. And it wouldn't even be something beyond me to think that people might wait a couple weeks to go ahead and pick one up. So my guess is that Google will probably have some decent incentives. I think they know that the brand has maybe an asterisk next to it after this last year's performance. They want people to jump over. And not only do they want people to jump over, they want people to get the Pixel Watch too. And I've got a lot of feedback from that. And it's funny because here's the thing. When new products come out, there's already a lot of people that have formed opinions about them before they even launch. And I've done this in the past. I've been very guilty of this. So I very much understand a lot of people like to pin their hopes and dreams on these things. And then when things they don't turn out the way we want them to, maybe sometimes in our own mind, it might not be exactly what we want. And that's just the nature of the beast. Whenever we get new stuff that comes out, we don't know exactly unless it leaks. and then it turns out to be accurate. But I try not to buy into too many of those. There are leaks galore, there's rumors galore, and that's one thing that Google actually does a fairly good job of doing is dispelling that by showing you stuff months in advance, much to their detriment, I think. And I think it really hurt the Pixel 6 and 6 Pro sales for the second half of the year, because here we were at Google I/O months ago, and they're like, by the way, guys, here's the Pixel 7 and 7 Pro and the Pixel Watch. Ta-da! So, yeah. There's not a whole lot behind the Wizard of Oz curtain for us to find out about. We know what it looks like. We know what's under the hood. We know kind of a lot of stuff already. And I think that for some people, that's actually a turnoff. I've seen a lot of folks say it looks exactly the same. Why am I going to go buy this? And of course, the Tensor chip doesn't have a shiny gold crown on top of its little processor head. Yes, some people are not very happy about it, and they think that that's a bad move. And here's one thing I think a lot of people would probably fundamentally agree on. I think a lot of people would like to see Google make and design their own processor. And it's one of those lofty things, of course. It's probably not going to happen. If it does happen, it's probably going to be 4 or 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road, who knows. Essentially what we have, it's made at the Samsung plant. And of course, Samsung helps with the production of the chip. They're the ones that make it. And a lot of people like to call it a Samsung chip. It's not exactly an Exynos chip. It may have some of the underpinnings. They may use some of the same development process, but it is a Tensor chip. The last chip had 2 primary cores. It's nothing we've seen in any other flagship configuration that I know of. When you look at the cores and how it's designed, it's very uniquely designed to support what Google wants to do, what they do with their ethos, which is to make things work better with the software and the hardware and the computational stuff. It's basically in anything, and that's what they're trying to build into their DNA and the hardware side that they've done on the software side that they've done on the server side. A lot of that stuff that used to be done server side got offloaded directly to the phone, complements of the Tensor chip. So the AI cores and the GPU that do a lot of this stuff for the computational photography on the photos, on the video, on the background, on the speech to text, all those crazy things that's done on the phone, it's done because of the Tensor chip, and it wouldn't be done as well if you threw a Qualcomm chip in there, you threw an actual Samsung Exynos chip in there. So yes, there are Qualcomm chips, there are Snapdragon chips that are made at Samsung plants. I mean, this has been a co-op for a long time because TMSC or TSMC, whatever, they did not have the build space available to manufacture all the chips. So this goes back to the Snapdragon 835. And the first time it happened, I think, with the mainstream flagship, and the reason why Samsung got first dibs on the 835. They were the first ones that got it. And that really hurt the LG G6. And if y'all remember, the LG G6, they were forced to go ahead and put a Snapdragon 821 in their chip, which is actually last year's second half of the year flagship, following up from the 820. And I believe also in the first Pixel, they put that in the LG G6 because they couldn't get their hands on the 835, and they didn't want to push their launch cycle back after Samsung releasing a phone after that. And that actually ended up hurting them. The 821 was a perfectly good chip, but Samsung, since they were helping with the processing manufacturing, they said, okay, we'll do 50% of the chips, but we want exclusivity rights for first launch. And that's kind of the story of what happened with Samsung and Qualcomm and that symbiotic relationship, I guess. So yes, there's a storied history there as well, and I think much to the detriment of some other different phone manufacturers, but it is what it is. So when you look at the Tensor chip, yes, it is made at the Samsung plant. Yes, I'm sure they have some say-so and talk about it. They use the process, they use the 4nm process that Samsung uses for their chips. So, I mean, I'm sure that some of the same tools and same materials are used there, but it is designed differently with customized cores and everything set up to serve the Google purpose. So I think we're going to see a couple of things when it comes to this next phone. And my hope is serious stability. And that's something that was sorely lacking with Android 12 in the Pixel 6 series. I mean, heck, it's something that we haven't really got up until maybe this month. We just got the October patch here yesterday. And it's funny because I was curious if we were actually going to get the October patch or if they're going to wait until the Pixel 7 actually launched. So it was reassuring for me to see the dedication, get the Pixel 6, Pixel 5 to Pixel 4, the update, get the software update out, we'll do the launch, and then you can just do an update once it's there. Pretty easy peasy. So my hope is a better, more seamless process when it comes to the software, more stability. That has to be there. If that's not there, this phone will fail. That's like 101 when it comes to what Google needs to do and their core competencies for this phone. That's what it has to do to succeed. 2, it has to quit having the overheating issues, the warming up issues, and the battery drain. That's been something that's very seriously plagued the Pixel 6 and 6 Pro. A lot of people have complained about it. A lot of people complain about battery drain. Of course, it was something that got messed up once we moved to Android 13 from the beta. Then they had to fix it with the September update that was late. You see the recurring theme there. So a lot of it is software. A lot of it isn't even necessarily a hardware issue. A lot of it's a software issue, or it's a software control for a hardware issue that they couldn't get locked down. And Samsung is probably the best one in the market when it comes down to locking that stuff and just asking about all the things they do with their software and the throttling, which they've gotten in trouble for several times. So we'll see what happens here. I think that largely there's probably positivity for the launch. I don't think there's a lot of negativity. I do worry and wonder about how many people will adopt a Pixel 7 that got a 6 and a 6 Pro. Most reasons being because most people don't upgrade their phone a year later. So I think it will be very telling to see how many early adopters there are. I think it will be very telling to see how many people move over. And this is a question that I have for you, the viewer. If you're going to get a Pixel 7 and you have a Pixel 6 series phone now, sound off in the comments. I want to know if you're going to stick with the Pixel 6 or if you're going to jump over to the Pixel 7. Are you going to do it? You plan on doing it? Or are you waiting to see what the pre-order deals are? And I'm curious to see what the pre-order deals are myself. I will make a video as soon as it's available to let you know what the pre-order deals are, where you can get the best deal, what you can save money on, and all that great stuff. That's something I do with all the phones, well, the major ones. I've done it with the Samsung phones. I've done it with the iPhone here this year, last year, and it seems to be pretty popular. So what I will do, as soon as the announcement is over and they announce the pre-order information, I will go sit down in front of my camera and record a video to let you guys know what you need to know about ordering, pre-ordering, deals, trade-in, all that good stuff, so that you guys are well informed. But I think it's going to be interesting. And sound off in the comments. And again, I want to know, are you excited about the Pixel 7, regardless of whether you're going to buy one? Are you excited about it? Is it something that you're looking forward to? And do you think it's something that Google has to get locked down? Because the Pixel 6 and 6 Pro, a lot of inconsistencies there for a lot of folks. And I think it showed up. And we'll see what happens. But excited about it. The pre-order, the launch is tomorrow. Well, I can't say the pre-order. I believe the pre-order is going to start tomorrow. It pretty much happens anytime there's a launch, so I think it's pretty much a foregone conclusion this is going to happen. There was even a thing on Amazon, they had their listing up early and people found it, that said that they were going to be available on the 13th. And that makes sense. It's a week after the launch date. That's what's happened historically with the Pixel 6 and 6 Pro last year. Not with the 6a. They made us wait a long time. But we'll see what happens here. I think that what we're going to see is we'll get the launch. They'll tell us the pre-order stuff. Pre-orders will probably start once the event is over. And I think probably October the 13th is probably pretty fair for when they're going to be available. So we'll see what's happened. Lots of pandemonium, a lot of excitement. Sound off in the comments, and that's it. So if you have any questions or comments, please go down to the comment section. I will get back with you. If you enjoyed the video, if you found this helpful, if you like the Pixel videos, you're in the right place. Hit the like and the subscribe button and the little notification bell if you want updates when new videos come out. And as always, thanks for being here. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you guys next time.